We are live. Hello, hello. Good evening. Um, my name is Noura. If you're new here, my name is Noura, and I am an enrolled agent and the founder of Noura's Books. I'm known as the nonprofit CFO, and with me here, my friend, the awesome Holly Rostek, the grant coach. Like, do you want to introduce yourself more, Holly?
Sure. Thanks, Nora, for having me. This is always fun. I know we've done a lot of stuff in the past and love working with you and seeing what you're doing with nonprofits. And I've been working with nonprofits for almost 2 decades, doing grant writing, and just really helping people too in the last 10 years, especially transition out of working inside of nonprofits and into opening their freelance grant writing companies, right? So being consultants and working with nonprofits instead of inside nonprofits. And that's been a lot of fun because there's so much growth and change that can happen. As you know, Nora, when you're opening your own business and being able to take off a lot of that scarcity mindset that's within nonprofits, take off those glass ceilings that are very pervasive in nonprofits, and to create, get out of that toxic environment that is existing in a lot of nonprofits. So I'm happy to be here and talk about that today and hopefully give some of you some light at the end of the tunnel and make your tunnel a lot shorter. You can jump through it, and really, still have a lot of meaningful change and do a lot of great work that nonprofits do, but at the same time, respect yourself and give yourself more space and more value and really feel your worth more.
Nice, nice. So, as you know, already, like a lot of stigma about working with nonprofit. No, I don't want to niche down to nonprofit. I don't want to work with nonprofit because they don't pay. Because people who work for nonprofit, they are underpaid, overworked. And then do you want me to become a consultant? They're not going to pay me. They want me to do pro bono. And I'm sure you get a lot of that, as I do as well. We are small
Yeah.
nonprofit. Okay, what does have that to do with me?
Yeah, and I love that you talk about these things because these are a lot of things that I hear as well. And the thing is that really when we look at it, and I just sent out an email about this because we have a freelance grant writer academy open right now, and I was talking to this because I was like, hey, though, wait a second. Working inside a nonprofit is a different relationship than working with a nonprofit. So even you executive directors out there, how many times have you said, oh my gosh, I'm looking at the nonprofit and I think this should happen, and you talk to your board of directors and you're like, hey, like these are what's this is my recommendation. I've been working I do the day-to-day and on the ground, all the things, and they're kind of like crickets, right? And then as soon as they hire a nonprofit, after you've been saying this for a year, the nonprofit consultant comes in and all of a sudden they say the exact same thing that you've been saying. But what does the board do? That's a great idea. Let's take immediate action on that. There is a different relationship when you are a consultant, right? So right away, the hierarchies change. There's a different boundaries and set because, and just to kind of relate this to grant writers specifically, if you're a grant writer inside a nonprofit, you may be chasing the bookkeeper. You may be chasing the executive director for getting information to write that grant. And you may be hearing crickets, and you may be actually acting more like a project manager or executive assistant than actually a grant writer, because you're trying to organize all these logistics and chase after people. And that's not your job. And the thing is, a lot of times what happens then is they give you the information that you need to write that grant the Friday before it's due on the Monday, right? So now all of a sudden you have to work your weekend when you wouldn't have had to if they would have given it to you on time. Because that relationship is that way, though, you now end up working your weekend. And do you get Monday off, though? No, you have to go in. So there's a lot of weird relationships. When a nonprofit consultant comes in or a freelance grant writer comes in, they say, I need the documents by this day. Do they still need to chase? Sometimes, but there's more boundaries in place to say, if you don't give it to me by this date, I will still charge you for writing the grant because you booked my time. Even if I don't do it. So there is a different relationship just naturally with consultants. And then you mentioned, so I really want to touch on this because this is pervasive. They don't have money to pay me because they're a nonprofit. Well, that's just ridiculous because nonprofits are the fastest growing industry in the United States right now. And they've been since 2016. And the other thing is they do have money to pay for things. Do a lot of them have rent buildings? Yes. Do a lot of them pay for internet? Yes. Do a lot of them pay for plumbing? Yes. Do a lot of them pay for website development? Yes. Right. So they are a huge part of the economy, actually 5.6% of the American economy. So right there is a lot of money. There's a lot of economy. If they are serious about growing their revenue and tapping into grants, they will pay you, because there definitely is an ROI, a return on investment, a return on impact with grants. So you can definitely position yourself better as a consultant than actually within a nonprofit a lot of times, and you still can get paid. Absolutely.
So what I'm hearing, you really have to tap into those nonprofits who are really serious to grow their nonprofit, and not just having that nonprofit as a hobby. Okay, when we get money, we'll do the program. We don't want to do anything professional. You just have to look where to go. Like, who do you present yourself to?
Yeah, and I think most nonprofits, that's their intention, right? They are passionate about filling a gap. They are passionate about certain things that they want to accomplish, and they understand that they need money or volunteers or whatever they need, resources to make that happen, right? So you are just a resource as a freelance grant writer or nonprofit consultant to help make the mission happen, right? So that's where they can help you, tie you in to really reach that goal. So I don't know if it's so much as finding serious. I think they're all pretty serious, but it's understanding, like, and educating nonprofits. But I say a lot of times it's just educating them to be like, a lot of times they're not ready for grants yet. So even as a freelance grant writer, I might be like, you know what, that's not, I know I write grants, and I'm just not going to push my services on everybody, because you might not be ready for it. Mm-hmm. Maybe instead we should do some nonprofit strategic planning first, right? Maybe first we should actually do a grant readiness assessment. Maybe first we should look at some other things. Let's make sure, because the things as far as the grant hat, what funding sources are looking for, two things for nonprofits. So y'all listen to this. two things, right? They're looking for, number one, can your nonprofit implement programs successfully? And the second thing that they're looking for is, can your nonprofit manage money successfully? If you've never managed money, if you've never implemented projects, first we need to start there. We need to build up. It doesn't have to be grant funding. It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Maybe it's a fundraiser, right? Maybe it's something like that. That's where we can start and build your portfolio and build you for sustainability. So a lot of it isn't about their seriousness. It's just about, like, educating and coming in with that consultant hat on. And that's why they pay you, right? Because you have that experience and you have that strategy to help them reach their mission. Yes,
definitely. So you guys, like, so you heard that, like, you cannot just go for a grant right away. You have to prove yourself. So if you don't know how, like, you can join my coaching program. At least you can watch my free masterclass. I go over these, or go to Holly, see, or do you work with nonprofit directly or only with consultants?
No, I work with, I have a free grant writing class as well. So if you guys are interested, I also have my best-selling grant writing book that's in universities all across the nation. So, and internationally now. So super excited about that. So yeah, there's tons of resources out there. Tap into Nora's resources, tap into my resources. There's so much out there. We have our grant writing and funding podcast. There's tons to know how to write grants. But if you're really like, I want something personalized and I want a consultant, that's where I help people also get in that position where they can make a living doing that as well. And I just want to touch on Yasir here. Like, oh my gosh. She said, you may be hearing crickets. Persistence, patience, and positivity pays beyond belief. So thanks for dropping that in the chat. I love that. Yeah.
Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about the free Lions Grant Writer Academy? I have the link here, and I put it in the chat. So if you want to talk a little bit about it, and until when you have it open, because you're closing the doors, or how does it work?
Right. Yeah. I love talking about it because it is such a powerful program. So it's a 12-month program, the Freelance Grant Writer Academy. We do coaching twice a month. We do a Slack channel. We have a ton of resources, plug and play templates, all of the things to start a freelance grant writing business. And one thing we've really we added this year is also doing grant reviews. So that helps because if you're new to grant writing, we have the grant writing master course in there so you can learn how to write grants. And then you can get your grants reviewed before you even send them to the client. So that builds your confidence, and that will help you score higher too and win those grants, right? It's the whole thing. So, and that's really for you. Like, we have a spicy belief that every grant writer should open a freelance grant writing company, even if they're just going to work super part-time and take on a client here or there, or if you want to do it full-time and that's your whole business, and maybe even build out an agency and hire grant writers underneath you. Like, everything in between. But we believe that every single grant writer should do that, because you never know what's going to happen. So to understand and have the resources on how to run a business, even if it's super side, is really important for you, right? And for your community. So if you're just working all the time in a nonprofit, and that's why I love the title of this, is about toxicity in nonprofits, because a lot of people are kind of stuck there and they're saying, I'm getting paid peanuts. And that's kind of like this stereotype or adage or whatever you call it, right? That is true for a reason, because a lot of nonprofits don't pay well. And there's a lot of kind of like this martyrdom in nonprofits too. Like, oh, well, if you ask for more, that's going to take away from our cause, and that's selfish of you. So if you've ever heard something like that, I would love for you to drop it in the comments, because this is so pervasive and it's so unhealthy, right? Mm-hmm. So just because you want to be able to like not live paycheck to paycheck and actually be able to put some money aside for retirement, or back in your community, or allow space where you can volunteer on a nonprofit board, or you can put your child in a better school, whatever that is not selfish of you, right? That is something that is healthy. Like, we are helping each other out that way. And when you feel safe and secure in your income and in your workload, you can show up more, right? You can show up more and really be more positive and healthy and just overall like giving, right? And generous when you have that. And when you're not, and you're kind of forced into this corner of like, oh, it's selfish for you to ask for more, and you should work the weekends, and we're not going to pay you more, and you should be fine with that. Mm-hmm. That's like so unhealthy. You're not going to show up. You're going to start getting better. And it's the same as a freelance grant writer too. Sometimes what I've seen is people who start their own businesses, they kind of carry that trauma and that mindset with them to their business. And then they let their clients like say, oh, can you work pro bono, like for free? And they're like, oh, I guess I should. Or can you give a really big discount? Oh, I guess I should. Because they're carrying that mentality in their business. And so in the Freelance Grant Writer Academy, we actually do a lot of mindset coaching. We talk about those kind of traumas. We go through like how to price and how to feel your value and your worth, and break free of a lot of those things, because it's been proven. And I love Rachel Rodgers. Those of you who've not read her book, You Should All Be Millionaires, they definitely check it out, because what she says is that when women are actually having more of an income, they give 97% of it back into their communities. Like 97% of women are like giving back into their communities, and raising up their communities and actually being really a part of the economic drive that's healthy. So definitely, and I say women here because a lot of you grant writers, 67% of y'all are women, and 82% of you freelance grant writers are women. So definitely that's what I'm talking to you. But there's a lot of stats to show that actually when we are not giving those deep discounts, not giving away everything for free, not living paycheck to paycheck, we actually bring more health into our communities. And there's a lot of those gaps that those nonprofits are trying to fix that are just fixed naturally because of that. So if you feel stuck in that toxic kind of feeling of that nonprofit, and you really still you need to make an income, of course, but you love the work that nonprofits do, maybe just not your situation, becoming a freelance grant writer or a nonprofit consultant really is something you can definitely do. You can earn a really good income. You can have space in your day. You can say no to things. You can create boundaries, and you can do it from a space of love and a space from really loving yourself and feeling valued. So we would help with all that and all the processes as well. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, in order to really feel like you're loving what you're doing, you're not putting that bad energy because you're frustrated. You don't want to know how to pay the bill. You don't know how to take care of your family, yourself, and even your community. Like you're not gonna put a good energy on whatever you're doing. So when you are taken care of, like it makes a lot of difference. And if we see like actually people, oh, okay, I can work for that. How long can you work for that little? How long? How
Yeah.
long can you work for that many hours? You
Yeah.
cannot, it's not sustainable. We all tried it. Actually, most of us who comes to a nonprofit consultant, like we love them, but we don't.
Yeah.
we
We've
want
all tried it. We've all failed. Yes. And the only reason we're still here as consultants is because we said no more and we stepped into that. If we would have said, okay, I'll keep giving away for free, our businesses would be gone right now because there's no way to sustain it.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And
yeah,
and somebody just said in the chat here, they said grants are not just writing it. Absolutely. There is a technical aspect to that. There is, and it's a very professional. So think of lawyer, think of accountant, think of these types of professions. That is a grant writer. They're not just some like woo-woo, like volunteer out there that's just kind of like knows what to do right away. There's technical skills that need to be built. There's a lot of money that comes through grant writing, right? Like my students are $12 million grants, $1 million grants, $500,000 grants. Like that is a lot of money for change in a nonprofit that can change communities, right? So there really is, it is a high technical writing, and you can definitely learn it though. It's not to say that it's scary and you can't learn it. It's just most, especially nonprofit executive directors who want to hire you as a grant writer, as a freelance grant writer, they don't have the time to learn it. That's not their thing. That's not their job description. It's to be the face of the organization, to manage the organization, to drive it forward. And when they get stuck writing grants, even if an executive director is an amazing grant writer, that's not what they want to do. They will pay you because you have time, right? You have the most precious thing that they do not. Time to focus on writing grants. So even if you're new to grant writing, in the Freelance Grant Writer Academy, we have our grant writing master course. We review grants. We really help with the technical part of that to help build up your confidence and skills. So then you are becoming a better grant writer. And what that helps with is you to be able to focus exclusively on writing grants for nonprofits. That is a thing you can sell even if you're new to it, because you have time to focus, to learn, to be an expert, become an expert, all of that, and people will pay you because of that. Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, it's coming up Facebook user. I think that's Brittnei C. Hi, Brittnei. She's saying hi, Nora. Hi.
I just see Facebook user, so it's all right.
Yeah, like I had to look at my phone. Who's that Facebook user?
I can see the names for LinkedIn, but not Facebook. Yeah, that's funny.
Sometimes it's not with the name. I think when they go through my group, it comes like this. But when it's like on my public account, it comes with the name. So she's coming through the group. Hi, Brittnei. So cool. Yeah, that's amazing. So do you have a deadline, like when people can join your
Yeah, so definitely we have our doors open right now. So I'm really excited. So Nora's like, come on. I was like, oh, let me talk about this because we have the doors open. And as you can see, I'm very passionate about it. And I believe in it because I've trained hundreds of freelance grant writers. I've trained hundreds of people to get into a position where they're making an income, where they're making decisions and have freedom in their day and how they want to live their lives. And it's not to say, oh, you're just going to be working an hour a day. Like, I mean, you might if you just want one client and that's it. But if most people, you still need to work, but at the same time, do you need to work on your weekends? Not always. You can choose if you're going to do that or not. You can create more boundaries. All of the things. So what we have right now is we're open until this Sunday, June 18th at 10 p.m. Eastern. You can definitely check it out. I know Nora's been dropping the link in there. So if you want to get inside, the cost is $2,500 for the entire year. It's 12 months. Like I said, 2 coaching sessions a month. Plus, we have our daily Slack channel. We have all of the courses, the templates, all of the things to make your business successful and to start a business. And to learn grant writing, all of the things. Or you can pay. We just opened up a 12-month payment as well. So it's about $225 a month. So if that's more doable for your budget, you can definitely do that. But the doors do close this Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then just one more thing I wanted to mention is also the Nonprofit Consulting Conference. So if you're like, well, Holly, I don't want to be a freelance grant writer, but I do want to be, maybe I want to do consultation like Nora does, like accounting for nonprofits or something else. Definitely join me. This is with Mandy Pierce from Funding for Good and its title sponsor is Founded Technologies. That's happening August 23rd and 24th. It's a 2-day virtual conference. And we have our early bird is ending June 30. So you save $100 off the tickets. The retail price is $397. So you get it for only $297 if you join by June 30th. That's 2 full days. We have 3 networking sessions, speakers jam-packed, amazing things going on. We did it last year. This is our 2nd year, and it was so successful. Nora was a sponsor last year. I love it. So we had Nora sponsoring that. You got clients from that too. So you know,
yes.
really also
got some partnerships also. It was amazing.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, you met so many people right there. So you attended the conference. It's so much fun. So if that's more of your jam, if you want to know, and our theme this year is really fun. It's how to know when to grow your nonprofit consulting business. So we talk about creating an email list, like starting and growing that, evergreen courses, like we talk about a little bit more of growth. So if that's something you're more attuned to, please check it out. We have tons of resources, like I said, but if you are serious about leaving that nonprofit, retiring soon, whatever that is, and starting a freelance grant writing business, please do join by June 18th this Saturday, because the doors will be closing. Yeah.
What are the dates again? Like for the conference?
So the conference is August 23rd and 24th. So that's a nonprofit consulting conference, a 2-day conference. Yeah. So that's not a couple months away, but the early bird ends June 30. So the last time you can save $100 off the ticket, which is amazing, is June 30th. Yeah. So you definitely want to grab that.
Awesome. I'm sure it's going to be great. So
yes, yeah, we're super excited. We just had a mixer with our sponsors last week that one of our sponsors, Learn Grant Writing, put together. So much fun just to even just network with the sponsors, and they're super excited about the conference. They were all also being able to network with one another, but really excited just to be able to share more with attendees and just to meet more nonprofit consultants out there and offer their services as well. And just, offer like, hey, we've been working with nonprofit consultants and nonprofits for some of them decades, right? So this is some kind of secrets and tips that we can share as well. So it's going to be really jam-packed. It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to love it. Please come. It's a place, a lot of people too, what we did last year, and we're going to do the same thing this year, is we opened a LinkedIn sharing doc. So a lot of people could share their LinkedIn with the other attendees, because we don't share the list with you all. We're not going to do that. We're going to protect your privacy. But if you want to share your contact information with other people you meet in the conference, you can do that. And that was really cool. A lot of people built relationships, like you said, Nora, right?
It was amazing. Because the chat is open. Like we comment there, and people, oh, I need this service. Oh, I need that. Or can we work together? And also the LinkedIn sharing document was good. Like we were messaging each other. It was amazing. So it was really good. Yeah.
I love it. It's funny because even in the Freelance Grant Writer Academy, that's what happens. That's what happens all the time, is people join and then they say, oh my gosh, does someone want to go on this bid together? Because I don't want to do it on my own, maybe. Or now I have too many clients. Does someone want to subcontract underneath me? Or you can be like, hey, does anyone need a subcontractor? I'm ready for work, but maybe I don't want to pitch directly to nonprofits right now. So I love community. So we're all about community here at Grant Writing and Funding. And with Mandy Pierce for the conference too, we're really about that. How do we create these human connections, right? Even in this digital space, how can we, like you and I, Nora, we've never met in person, but we have a relationship.
Yes, exactly. It's amazing. Like Zoom, StreamYard, everything. Like we just have this relationship, like you said. If you need something, if I need something, reach out to each other. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the way we can do it, especially in this new space that we find ourselves in, right? So definitely that's what we have a lot to offer you guys. And let me know, you guys can definitely join our podcast as well. Check it out. Grant Writing and Funding is our podcast and our website and all of the things that we do and offer. And yeah, we just love the work too that you're doing, Nora. So cool to see you guys commenting in here on the comments. I love this platform. This is fun.
Thank you. No, thank you so much. Actually, you guys have to go to the podcast. Like I listened to Holly even before we met, and that's how I learned about the nonprofit conference last year. I'm like, oh, let me reach out. And
Yes.
started actually communicating, and we had this relationship. So it's really amazing. So you must like listen to her podcast. Like it's amazing. I am a YouTube girl, so you go listen to the podcast from YouTube. Whatever you guys like want to listen, like from whatever platform your preference, just go
Yeah.
listen. She have a lot of great things, and also she brings a lot of great guests. So
Like you've been on the podcast. Love it. Yeah, but we have, oh my gosh, this week, Nora, 275th episode.
wow.
Yeah, so we're the longest grant writing podcast out there. We're the top ranked grant writing podcast out there. We've been doing this since, gosh, I think 2017. So it's been a long time, but I was just like, oh my God, 275 episodes. Like, love it. Love it.
More to come. More to come. I'm
More
sure.
to come. I think we'll be closing out close to our 300th episode by the end of the year, if not making it. It's like right around there. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll be doing a big celebration for that. Not sure yet what. But we will. That's what he said.
Excited for that. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. But yeah, definitely you guys check out the Grant Writing and Funding podcast. I do a mix of solo episodes and then also bring on guests like Nora. And yeah, I love it that it's been helping a lot of people out there just learn more about grant writing, but we also talk about other things like the things we're talking about today, right? Like we get real. So definitely, yeah, check it out. And thank you so much for having me on today, Nora. This has been so much fun.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to have you. I'm really happy to have you. And guys, check the comments. Join the conference. Join the grant writing workshop. Like 1 second. Writer Academy. Okay. And if you are a tax and accounting and you're watching us, do you want to get into the 990s, helping nonprofits who are actually doing their 990? Sign up. Not this one. This is the wrong one. Sign up for this is the wrong one too. I'm sorry, guys. I have a lot of links here. This is the one.
That's the one. Third time's a charm.
This is the one. Registration is open. You're going to learn everything because auditing to 990s has been increasing so much. And a lot of trigger. I'll show you the red flags, what they're looking for, what triggers an audit. And it's not a good news if they trigger an audit. Even for those actually who's doing only the EZ, they're still getting audited. I spoke to an attorney the other day, and he said he has 3 people. He has 3 clients getting audited, triggered from the 990 NCARD. I mean, what did trigger an audit in 990 NCARD? So 3 of those and 5 of like the longer ones. So it's being, they're going after nonprofits so much. So you want to make sure you do it right. You can increase your income for your firm if you get into if you helping nonprofit with 990s, because there's not too many of us who's helping nonprofit. A lot of tax and accounting professional, they don't want to even touch it.
No, yeah.
Either for
you, Nora, because
too much.
Yeah, I live here in Guam, so those of you who don't know. But anyways, and I'm like, there's hardly any accountants here, and it's very hard to find somebody who knows nonprofits. So we even talked, and I'm like, okay, you might need to come on to help with a nonprofit here because they're having very specific, and they have very specific needs, right? Like this one's like our fiscal sponsors and putting our money over in this account. And what do we do? Do we go to the IRS? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very different than other places. So it is needed. Accounting is and a lot of, like you said, you hit the nail on the head because a lot of accountants just don't even want to touch nonprofits because there are nuances. So that would be like, that's game on. That's also another like in your pocket job is to be a nonprofit consultant with helping with accounting and bookkeeping like that. So I love that. That goes right with grant writing. Like we will never be out of work because people always need us because of these things, right? And a lot of people don't want to step into these because it sounds overwhelming. But you can learn it. You can learn how to do it. It's not a big thing. Right?
Exactly. So in this class, I'm planning it's going to be live, like 2 days live. I'm planning to give them everything they need. like
Nice.
checklist, review list, like what you really need to look at, like what to ask your client for your protection, how do you protect their clients, so everything they need. So go ahead and register, guys. So you have so many things for nonprofit, like to work with nonprofit. How many nonprofit? More than 1.5 million in the US. So you have a lot of markets. So you're not gonna take my job or high job or anyone's job. Like there's work for everyone. So join any program that you feel like you actually can benefit from. And yeah, let's get to work.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Holly. It's really awesome to have you as always. Thank you and good luck with everything, with the
Yeah.
conference, with your course. I'm gonna just put it like right here, so it's gonna run for you guys, and it's in the comments, and we'll put it in the description as well on YouTube. So go ahead and join. And thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Nora, and thank you to all you watchers out there. This is really cool to see, like, being live and see your comments and everything. And I love, I think that's Brittnei. I don't know, just Facebook users.
Yes, that's Brittney, I guess.
We'll never be out of work. And yes, we'll never be out of work as nonprofit consultants, as freelance grant writers. Like, there is more than enough. Constantly, like, once again, my students are saying, hey, help me out. Who can take this job? Like, it is happening. We're not competing, we are collaborating all the time, right? So thanks for all of you guys out there watching. Thank you to Nora's books for having me on today and talking about all of the fun things and how to get out of that toxic nonprofit. Lots of opportunities for you. So
awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Bye.